Nate, 2025 was a big year for the wealth management industry and retirement. We saw the government really getting involved and talking about private market assets and retirement plans. We heard a lot about AI. So what's 2026 going to be like?
I think 2026 will be a watershed moment in that for the first time, we're going to have the introduction of retirement product that makes it possible to gain access to private markets as part of a diversified portfolio.
Can you talk a little bit more about private market assets in 401ks and retirement plans? Because there's a lot of conversations going on in DC, because it's going to take a lot to make this happen.
You bet it will. I mean, what's I think worth keeping in mind is private markets have long been the bedrock for exposures in retirement plans for decades, but that's for pension plans. And that same benefit that accrues to pension plans should accrue to plan participants in 401k plans. And so the idea is not to make it available in a lineup of investments for the individual investor to decide how to allocate and from where, but really for it to be made, that exposure to be made possible through managed accounts as well as through target date funds.
So how does Wilshire, for example, help plan sponsors with this process?
In a number of ways. The first is there will be lots of new solutions coming to market. Wilshire's job is to provide counsel to these plan sponsors, help evaluate the managed account solutions, the target date funds, to ensure that the design and use of private markets is done and done in a sensible way. In many other cases, we'll be working directly with large record keepers to help bring those exposures in custom target date solutions, managed account solutions, and the like.
And how else can plan sponsors modernize their lineups? Because there's a lot of offerings now, CITs, et cetera.
Yeah, a lot of changes is underway. I would say the most important thing is to maintain the best interests of plan participants first. Most participants need a lot of help. And so the idea is help them grow their retirement nest eggs. And so by incorporating private markets to enhance returns and diversify risk, we think that's an important next step for plan sponsors. And the second is as they get closer to retirement, they need help planning for retirement. When can they afford to retire? How much can they spend in retirement? Things of that nature. And I think the provision of managed account solutions and other such things will be really helpful for participants as they need to make these important decisions.
And then finally, speaking of those important decisions, how are you and how is Wilshire helping educate plan sponsors, advisors, clients, everybody?
You bet. Well, again, private markets have been around for a long time, and it's helping to educate plan sponsors about the benefits that they provide, especially when incorporated as part of a diversified investment portfolio. For plan participants, most participants, frankly, don't really understand the differences between a mutual fund, an ETF, and a CIT, and the same would be true of public markets versus private markets. Our job is to make it as easy for them as possible and put things on auto drive to make sure that they're invested in a well-diversified portfolio that helps them achieve their retirement goals.
All right, well, thanks a lot for coming on and talking about it.
Great, thanks so much, Greg.